The British burden of war was due to the cost of carrying not only the country's own war effort, but through the traditional subsidies to continental allies, some of that for other states. In monetary terms, the British carried by far the heaviest load during the war. It cost them between 3 and 4 times as much as it did the French. The answer to the general question is easier for France than for Britain, for there is little doubt that the French economy remained relatively stagnant, and the French industry and commerce would almost certainly have expanded further and faster but for the revolution and the wars. Though the country's economy advanced very substantially under Napoleon, it could not compensate for the regression and the lost impetus of the 1790s. For the British, the answer is less obvious, for their expansion was meteoric, and the only question is whether, but for the war, it would have been more rapid still. The generally accepted answer today is that it would. For the other countries, the question is generally of less importance, where economic development was slow or fluctuating, as in much of the Habsburg Empire, and where the quantitative impact of the war effort was relatively small. Of course, such bold statements beg the question. Even the frankly economic wars of the British in the 17th and 18th centuries were not supposed to advance economic development by themselves or by stimulating the economy, but by victory, by eliminating competitors and capturing new markets. Their cost in disrupted business, diversion of resources, and the like was measured against their profit, which was expressed in the relative position of the belligerent competitors after the war. By these standards, the wars of 1793 to 1815 clearly more than paid for themselves. At the cost of a slight slowing down of an economic expansion, which nevertheless remained gigantic, Britain decisively eliminated her nearest possible competitor and became the workshop of the world for 2 generations. In terms of every industrial or commercial index, Britain was very much further ahead of all other states, with the possible exception of the USA.